Have you ever wondered what would it be like if ESP hadn't developed like it did? Imagine a world where scientists can share discoveries, pilots cannot communicate mid-air, or businesses go out the window, all because English didn't suffer the secondary effects of World War II, wasn't adapted to specific contexts, nor seen as a need.
This is where English for specific purposes, or ESP, begins to show its true colors in its evolution, the story of language evolving to meet real-world needs.
Our journey begins in the 1960s, when the world was recovering after a disastrous World War II, and science and technology's development was skyrocketing. Furthermore, the grammar translation method came to the beginning of its end, giving way to audiolingualism during this decade.
In 1962, Charles Barber highlighted English's new global role as a lingua franca. His descriptive analysis of scientific English set one of the first stepping stones for the development of ESP, focusing on language of science and technology as fields.
The 1970s brought ESP into classrooms. Textbooks like yours and La Torres, Basic Scientific English, John Swale's early work, and the Nucleus series by Martin and Bates tailored language to the specific fields of science.
Then came the Washington School, Lackstrom, Salinger, and Trumbull, who connected grammar to rhetorical purpose, showing that linguistic choices reflect the author's communicative goals.
This was also the start of needs analysis, where teachers identified what learners needed English for, instead of teaching a generic syllabus that cannot cover even half of every learner's needs. Throughout this period up to 1985, some teaching methods, such as the silent way, total physical response, community language teaching, and Suggestopedia made their way through the language teaching process field to look after learners' personal and psychological developmental needs, setting them at the center of the classroom for the first time.
The 1980s were a turning point. ESP researchers began examining language in context, not just in text. Moreover, language teaching methods in general sailed through towards the beginning of the communicative language teaching era.
Tarrone et al. Put their thinking caps on alongside specialist informants to better understand authentic communication in professional settings. Swales pioneered move analysis, revealing rhetorical patterns in research article introductions.
At the same time, needs analysis became more systematic, looking at academic strategies and workplace demands.
In the 1990s, John Swale's landmark book, Genre Analysis, changed everything.
Swales introduced genre theory, saying text as social actions and rhetorical moves and steps. But what are rhetorical moves? This refers to the actions that the speaker takes to achieve a goal or a specific purpose, be it either informing, persuading, or explaining concepts. By the same token, it is noteworthy that his creative research, the space model, became essential for teaching research writing.
At that time, ESP shifted from teaching language about disciplines to teaching language within disciplines, socializing learners into academic and professional communities. At this point, the communicative language teaching method, after having been intermittently implemented since 1985, finally strengthened and started to be widely applied up to this day and age.
During the 2000s, new and improved digital tools were developed. Corpus linguistics allow researchers to analyze thousands of real texts and study the language. And digital corpora were created, which had collections of many different types of texts.
Ken Hyland used corpora to study stance and engagement, showing how writers position themselves and interact with readers.
Multimodality, led by Gunther Kress, highlighted the role of visuals and digital formats, expanding ESP into new genres that include writing and images as support.
From 2011 onward, ESP became increasingly pivotal, contextual, and even more global.
Scholars like Bolter, Paltridge, and Tardy emphasize contextualized, multi-methods approaches, blending genre theory, corpus linguistics, and critical pedagogy, which speaks volumes about the monumental development of ESP and teaching methodologies.
ESP now prepares learners to navigate digital communication, intercultural interaction, and evolving professional genres.
From Barber's quite descriptive beginnings to Swale's genre revolution and Hyland's innovative corpus insights, ESP has constantly adapted to the world around it.
Understanding and becoming acquainted with the history of ESP is crucial for English teachers, as it helps them realize their job must be thoroughly planned, painstakingly reflected upon, and systematized. Similarly, the research conducted throughout these years has encouraged teachers to move from a vertical role to a more horizontal one, where bidirectional communication prevails over commands, resulting in a student-centered environment with a collaborative essence that serves as a plinth to activities and syllabus design.
ESP's evolution appears to be linked to the shift in language teaching paradigms and the emergence of a more holistic, human-centered vision. This is particularly important for English teachers as it reflects a wide variety of methods that can be applied to provide the students with opportunities to develop the skills needed to become globally competent as well as academically and professionally successful.